Good morning, guys. Welcome to this Tuesday, June 23. And we got a risk off day. Man, look at this risk off overnight. Not a day yet, but it's an overnight and major risk off stuff going on. Not quite sure where that came from. Came out a little bit of left field. We saw a little bit of weakness going into the close yesterday. Well, we saw a bit of selling. They kind of held this support line at 75.15, 10 to 15 here, and then uh, didn't feel like much of a sell-off to be going on, but it's overnight. Look at that thing. They started off a little bit and yes, absolutely fell apart totally. And now they found support here at support at the 75, 74.60s. I've taken it one leg below that. Today in that back in this lower range again. So that just came out of nowhere. No news to drive the market as far as I can tell. No headlines I saw which would cause that. It's just the risk off kind of a dynamic. So profit taking or rotations, preparing for upcoming IPOs or not, something. And that was pretty brutal. Now we have news this morning. We have PMI, nothing at 8:30. At 9:45 we get PMI composite. At 10 we get Richmond Fed and a 2-year auction at 1. Not much news to drive the market. I have not seen any headlines which would cause this to the risk off move, but summer trading, I guess. And usually in this time frame, June, July, August, September, you'll get some weakness, some seasonal weakness, and maybe you'll be looking at something beginning here. So we've been up here flirting with the highs, doing pretty darn good. So maybe they're due for a little bit of a correction, a little bit of a move down. So I'm just going to, so you see yesterday's close here. It closed towards that 75.15. Sorry, 75.40 is where they closed, a little bit higher. And then from there, they just kind of blew through that support area. So it puts me in a little bit interesting spot. I mean, I would start off right now, right from the get-go, from the short side and see if they get continuation. If they don't, we may see a pretty good retracement. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the day session reacts to this. Either you're going to see a nice retracement of this right back up, a nice rally from the get-go, retracing a lot of this, and then they may, excuse me, they may take it lower from there. Or we don't see any of that. We'll see them kind of staying around down here in the lower range and maybe even attempt to take it lower. So it's going to be anyone's guess, but I would start to sell strength. Initially looking for short setups against that 74.55s and the 70s here, these two resistance areas. That's it. Yes, if you get more strength than that, even when if they start retracing past the if they start retracing past the 74.55, so I'm still gonna look for a short against this guy, the 74.70s for rotations down. If they keep retracing, I'm just gonna hop on the long side and see how far I want to retrace it. Not necessarily thinking a rally is gonna start from there, but it's just a technical retracement of this overnight weakness. And look for a potential reverse retest at the 75 10 to 15 or the 75.30s here. So that's kind of the way I would look at it. So we're watching for a potential retracement, looking to get short against strength, at least early on, but not going to be too crazy about it. So if they start taking out that 70s here, 74.70s, we're looking at more of a move to the upside, basically starting a little bit from the long side here to see how far they want to take it. On the way down, looking to buy against support at 74.20s with a bit of caution. I'm not going to be very aggressive on it at this point until I figure out what's really going on here, or if the market is going to be trying to take this lower or not. But right now, it's pretty much an open guess, an open question as to if we're going to get some immediate continuation or a hard retracement. So and those are the options. It's going to be an interesting start of the day. But initially, I'm starting off from the short side. See how starting off on the short side or leaning short. They're going to sell strength, and then let's see if they're going to start retracing or if we're going to see just an attempt to take it lower from there. And if they start taking it lower, I mean, we already retraced quite a bit, so we can see these guys take it quite a bit lower. I mean, so you can see the next support there is going to be way down here at the 73.40s, and that's going to be a good chunk on the way down as well. So we're right back up in this upper area right now. The 74.50s reverse retesting that. But if they can't take that out and start retracing, we may see them take it all the way down here to 73.40, maybe even challenge these low volume areas we haven't been down in for a while. So we'll see. It's going to be an interesting day, but that's how I'm going to start on the ES. So starting off on the short side, fairly aggressive on shifting my bias if I think it's starting to retrace, and not necessarily thinking that that retrace is going to turn into a big rally, but there could definitely be a few levels in there. And then we'll see how the afternoon shapes up. Then we'll see let me see. And we'll see how the afternoon shapes up, and if it's going to be uh, more of a continuation, or you're gonna see this afternoon weakness develop. Because that could certainly happen. You get the pretty good retracement rally. Everyone gets caught off guard, starting to think that we are retracing. We're back on the long side, and then they hammer it in the afternoon. So we got a few different options here. So I'm gonna have to keep our eyes open today to see what's kind of happening. Nasdaq, man, oh man, oh man, that guy had been absolutely creamed. So. They were up here against the highs, typical Nasdaq behavior, up here, almost making new highs. Look at that. They ran it hard up here, right down, testing the highs, and then complete collapse. And then overnight, just it kind of kept going, and we are way down here. So lots of range to the downside on the Nasdaq, right into the support area at 750s. And again, same story there. Looking for short setups initially for see if you're going to get continuation to the downside, given this big move. If they start retracing past I would give it past that 30,100s. I would look for a retracement trade at that point, same as the ES. So initially, I'm looking for short setups against probably against the 930s, the 30,000s, up to the 3100s. This level right there at the 870s, it could be a level, but I think the better short probably counts at the 930s here. So two levels, one level outside the obvious for the Nasdaq, and then if they keep retracing past that, then up on the long side and see how far they want to take it. Still, same story there. What's going to happen in the afternoon after we see if they retrace or not? Now, one thing which may happen is that they just start taking this lower. They challenge the low, start pushing this to the downside right from the get-go, which means that you got a pretty good risk-off day right in front of us, and stay on the short side at that point. So. The only long dynamic here is if you start seeing that retracement trade. Otherwise, I think we are in a risk-off mode, a risk-off kind of a dynamic, and I would look to sell strength at least to get started here. Buying against that 760s and the 26 690. Nah, not going to be very aggressive on that at all until I see a pretty good base forming and some interest on the long side of this, because right now it doesn't look it. It does looks pretty freaking anemic. So that's kind of where we are. On the Nasdaq, before I keep going there, if they keep going, I mean, we had, as I said before, we had a lot of range. They can take it all the way down here to the 828 500s fairly easily. So I mean that they've been already back and forth here a couple of times. So I could very well be in the cards that they're going to run it all the way down there again and scare the bejesus out of everyone. So we'll see how weak it gets, but it's definitely a pretty good risk-off day to get the day started. So looking for shorts against the 930s, the 30,000s up to the 3100s. About that one, looking for a long trade for retracement to the upside. And then we'll see, and they can retrace quite a bit on this one. Let me see here. Uh, 30,000, 170s, 215s. up to the 270s for rotations down. So pretty much all the way up here to that 270. I think we can safely assume they can run this retraces. Let me see. I just scroll this chart. It's just amazing how much range Nasdaq is kicking up. Maybe I have to start compressing this a little bit more. Look at this. They can run it all the way up here to the 340s before we start even getting close to a prior low here. So all this stuff right here, from the 30,000s up to the 30,300s, almost 300 points on the upside. It could be a flat out retracement trade. So watch for that. But right now it doesn't look. It looks pretty darn weak. So we're starting off looking to sell strength if we see it. See if they're going to try to take it lower from the get-go. So both ES and Nasdaq starting from the short side. Let's see how weak it's going to get. Nasdaq, micro Nasdaq already have 1,000,001 contracts traded. Micro ES 366,000. So there's a pretty good volume going on right now. The ES, the regular ES contract, has 290,000 traded. So it's pretty good volume on that one as well. Crazy overnight. All right, so let's take a look at the bonds real quick. So bond market up here against the in the range again, not doing much. It just isn't. So it's just kind of twisting in the wind. Here's your F1. It's just twisting in the wind. They slowly drifted one leg lower. I mean, they're building value a little bit lower than our prior distribution, so yields a little bit higher. But I haven't really retraced a whole lot. A couple of attempts to take it lower. The yields they're holding around the 112s, so 112, 113, and that's kind of where they are. So I would just start off range bound again on the bonds, watching for my setups. It's been pretty boring lately, I had to say. But once you get a little bit of movement, you see that those setups, there could be a nice few tick worth of a trade in there. But you had to really be cautious trading it, because it's if it's not working out, if it gets you caught, you'll just be twisting in the wind. That's kind of sitting there. And when it moves, it moves. I mean, you'll see you can get in and get out, and they can knock you out pretty darn quick if you're on the wrong side of a trade there. Alrighty, guys. So bond market range bound, looking to buy weakness, 24s and the 16s. Looking to sell strength, 113s and the 113.08s for rotations back down. So that's pretty much 2 levels up, 2 levels down right now on the bonds. So not much else going on there. Looks like the AMP issue is cleared up. All the fills are gone right now, so that's good. I guess they sorted that out finally. And then finally, on the crypto side, gold and silver moving a little bit, but the volume is not that crazy. 23,000 on silver, 13,000 on gold. So it's not huge volume on these by any means. Oil is 5,000, so it's not a lot of volume on them. The Bitcoin futures, 181,000. The Ethereum, 160,000. So a fair amount of volume on those futures. They're a little bit smaller contracts though. They're like 5 cents a tick. So it doesn't move a whole. I mean, you're gonna have to move a little bit to get some payout out of them. So, but I'm watching it, trying looking for opportunities. So, but the overall is kind of to the downside today. You can see here that they has pretty much knocked it down pretty hard here in the overnight. A lot of overnight trading going on in those contracts. And I have a profile on them. So, I mean, I keep a profile on these as well in the background. So just to get some perspective on them. But you can see here, they knocked it down pretty darn hard in the overnight on these two. So, that's your Coinbase futures. Back to the ES and the Nasdaq, and so far, let me see here. Pretty much where we left it. So just twisting in the wind right now. So the big question for today's trading, before we wrap it up, is really: are we going to get flat out continuation from the get-go? Are we going to see that retracement trade building, or are we just going to go sideways? So we're going to start assuming we're going to start from the short side on both the ES and Nasdaq, looking to sell strength, and then let's see how it develops from there. And if they keep going, I mean, if you're selling strength, Just keep your stop tight. If you keep going, then you're just out of that trade or scratch it. And if they start just blowing through the lows and extending to the downside, well, you know what the levels are. The bigger things on the Nasdaq, the bigger levels on the Nasdaq comes down here at the 430s, and then we have all the way down here. I mean, we can go quite a bit lower on the Nasdaq, so I would be a little bit cautious about. There's no obvious support right in front of us. And the ES, that level is down here at the 73.50s. That's going to be the ES level. All right, guys, we'll wrap it there. So it looks like we've got an interesting day ahead of us. So, and if it gets too volatile, too crazy, there's no shame in sitting on the sidelines. It's trying to overtrade it. If you trying to get in and the volatility keeps shaking you out, just kind of sit on the sidelines instead. All right. So we'll leave it there. I'll see you guys back at 11:30 for the next update. So good trading, guys. I'll see you back then. All right, guys, later.